Have you ever thought about what went into making your favorite things? Well, according to the American Welding Society, more than 50% of the products made in the U.S. require some sort of welding process. This includes MP3 players, cell phones, fridges, cars, computers, and more. Welding is very overlooked by the world, and people don't realize how important it is. There are many different welding processes such as MIG, TIG, forging, underwater, and more. But I will be focusing mainly on stick. The Bible mentions a man forging all different types of tools, so welding can be dated back as far as then, according to the Welding Accessories Technology website. Stick welding was discovered in 1881 by a Russian inventor named Nikolay Benardus, who is known as the father of welding. He was able to strike an arc with a stick of carbon, known as an electrode. Later would come the more elaborate processes of welding, such as MIG and TIG. Before welding, you must have proper personal protective equipment. The stick welding process produces a lot of sparks, so you have to make sure you're as safe as possible. This includes long pants, long shirt, closed-toed shoes, welding gloves, welding mask of at least shade 10, safety glasses, and hair up. You also need to pay attention to what your clothing is made out of. If it's very flammable, you have a high risk of catching on fire, and if it melts, it can melt onto you and burn you badly. Stick welding uses a consumable electrode, meaning the electrode will melt and become part of the weld. There is a flux coating around the metal electrode that protects the weld from contamination and helps bring impurities out of the weld, which creates slag that then covers the weld and has to be chipped off. The electrode gets placed in the stinger, which allows electricity to flow through the electrode into the metal you are welding. You then drag the electrode across the metal, feeding it into the metal to create your weld. But if you get too close to the metal, the electrode will stick, and if you get too far away, you'll lose your arc. Electricity flows in a circle. Therefore, you must complete the circle with a ground clamp. The electricity would then flow from the machine to the electrode, to the piece you're welding, to the ground clamp, and back to the machine. When welding, you can choose different types of electrical currents, such as AC, alternating current, or DC, direct current, positive or negative. DC is easier to weld in, can weld thinner material, and DC welders are also more expensive. As for AC, it's harder to weld with. AC welders are cheaper, and you can also weld thinner material with it. The difference between the two is that AC welders use the electrical current straight from the outlet, and DC welders use the same AC current but converts it to direct current with the use of a transformer. The welding job outlook is fantastic, growing at 15% from 2010 to 2020, which is faster than normal, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. There are welders needed all over, whether it be for building skyscrapers, cars, pipelines, or everyday items. Depending on the job, you can also get the opportunity to travel and can make more than $55,000 a year. Unfortunately, some jobs in welding have been replaced by robots because they are more efficient and cheaper. Welding has been critical for the U.S. in many ways. We have been able to expand our architectural designs and make builders cheaper and faster. We may not know it, but most of the stuff we have has some type of weld put on it, from metals all the way to plastics even. Just remember, some of the dirtiest jobs are also the more fun ones. So if you haven't welded before, give it a try.